In today's video, I'm going to show you how to prepare for the next crypto bull market. Crypto is going to enter another bull market eventually, and there's been a lot of bullish news recently, as I'll talk about in a minute. And anyone who followed crypto in 2017, 2021 knows that crypto bull markets can generate insane, life-changing returns for people that know how to take advantage of them. However, if you want to get those returns, you have to start preparing sooner than later, because if you start looking at crypto after it's already in the news, after it's already gone up multiples from the bottom, then you're going to be playing catch up from people who have been following it since it was in a bear market. And so in today's video, I'll talk about why I think crypto could enter a bull market sooner than later, and then some concrete steps that you can take to set yourself up to have an advantage when the market does take off. And before I get into the main video, I want to remind you that nothing I say is financial advice. This video is mostly going to be about ways that you can position yourself to be a specialist and how you can learn to do your own research. But you should still make sure you're doing your own research before you actually invest in anything yourself, and make sure you understand all the risks. Now, let's get into the video. To start, why exactly do I think that crypto could be entering a bull market sooner than later? First is the price of Bitcoin has gone up a lot recently. If we look at it here in CoinGecko, we can see that it just broke above 30,000 yesterday from the time I'm making this video on October 23rd, and it's already at 34,000. And if you look at it even over the past year, since the FTX collapse, it's up more than 2x off its lows, and year to date, it's actually up nearly 2x just since the start of 2023. So that's a pretty strong recovery from the bottom already, and there's a lot of on-chain data and news that would actually go along with that price increase. BlackRock filed for a Bitcoin ETF over the summer, as anyone who's been following Bitcoin in the crypto market would know. And there's been many other Bitcoin ETFs filed since then. And just over the past week, they've taken some more steps and they've updated their application with the SEC. That makes it look increasingly likely that the Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved maybe sooner than later. Then if you look at on-chain data, for example, Bitcoin hash rate has been going up. This is generally considered to be a bullish indicator, as it means that miners are dedicating more processing power to securing the Bitcoin network. And then if you look at this total stablecoins market cap, this is a very important on-chain indicator, because this can be taken to mean capital flows in the crypto market, since stablecoins are typically backed by dollars or other liquid assets. And if you look at this, then you can see that this has been decreasing since 2022, really since the spring of 2022. And over the past 3 months, it's actually stopped decreasing. And this could mean that capital has stopped flowing out of crypto, which would be the first step in capital eventually starting to flow back into crypto. And so that's the main case I see right now why crypto could be either entering a bull market or could at least have bottomed and be preparing to resume a steady climb upwards. And what does that mean for you? How can you prepare for that? Well, the first thing to do is to specialize. And what do I mean by that? Well, imagine that you say, okay, you're going to trade Bitcoin. Great, right? I mean, I can see a case where you have this as a part of your portfolio. Maybe you believe in that it's a store of value. Maybe you believe that it's the future of international payments. But you are probably not going to outtrade BlackRock, for example, on an asset that has a $659 billion market cap. And you're probably not going to outtrade, for example, many of the high frequency trading firms that now trade Bitcoin. However, what you might do is you might be able to have an advantage if you look at things that are much, much more specific than Bitcoin. I mean, even something like Ethereum, right? You have a difficult time out trading the many people with decades of experience that are trading Ethereum right now, unless that's you, in which case you probably don't need my advice. However, if you want to get an advantage, for example, here's the CoinGecko categories section. So these are all the different categories in crypto. And if you look at some of these, let's scroll down a bit. Then you have, for example, Telegram apps, right? These are Telegram apps for trading crypto trading bots on Telegram. And if you look at some of these, for example, the largest one, Unibot, has a market cap of around $75 million. And there's some that have market caps of $1 to $10 million, that range. And the thing to keep in mind is major players are probably not going to be trading these, right? And how many people are closely following this sector? this sector is a little more popular right now. So maybe you're talking about 1,000 people, 2,000 people at most. And so you can very quickly become an expert on one of these smaller sectors and understand the ins and outs of every single one of these projects, which ones have solid teams, which ones are adding new features, which ones have the best user experience, which ones have the most users, basically anything that you would need to know. To give another example of a category that you could look at, so that way not everyone runs out and becomes an expert on Telegram trading bots. Let's say you believed in decentralized physical infrastructure. These are decentralized physical networks for things like storage, GPU processing, Theta's video streaming, Helium is a decentralized cell network, and there's a whole bunch of these right here. So very interesting real world use case of crypto. Many of these actually have functioning networks with real users using them, and many of them are solving real problems, right? So for example, Render solves the problem of there's people with unused GPUs, or they have GPUs that they're not using all the time, and then there's other people who need to rent GPUs to do things like processing machine learning, and so they're solving a real problem. And you could become an expert on the DPIN category and learn the ins and outs of all of these different projects and which ones are solid. To give one more example on this, you could become an expert on gaming, or GameFi as it's sometimes called, right? This is not my specialty. However, there's tons and tons of crypto games ranging from 1.6 billion, 700 million, all the way down to things that are micro caps that are going to be less than $1 million in market cap. And are some of these projects that have at this point maybe $500,000 market cap, are they still building? Absolutely, right? Some of them are still probably building interesting things. They have games launching. However, there's so few people following this category at this point that you could become an expert on it very quickly. One other way that you could actually become an expert is maybe, for example, it's tough for you to get an edge trading a token that's as large as Solana itself, right? However, you could become an expert on the Solana ecosystem. You could really dive into Solana, and you could learn about every new DeFi project that's launching, every new NFT project that's launching on there. And with those, you could probably still get in early because those aren't going to be listed on exchanges yet. And that's going to really narrow the number of people that are getting involved in those projects. So pick your specialty, start becoming an expert on it. And then once you become an expert on it, you need to learn how to predict which projects are going to do well and how to research the fundamentals of different projects. And to illustrate my point with this, I want to show you a quick example. Here's this project Kujira. It was originally an app on Terra. Now it's its own layer 1. And it's done really well recently. Over the past 14 days, it's doubled. And if you just look at it year to date, it's really broken out since September. And Kujira is a very large community. But how could you have known that this was an interesting token to look at before it actually took off? Well, if you understood what total value locked is, TVL, which is basically deposits in DeFi, then you would have known to look on DeFi Llama, and you could have seen that the TVL on Kujira has basically been up only since mid-2022 and has increased even faster recently since September. And so you could have seen that the TVL has been going up. You could have seen that it had a huge jump in September, and that might have been a hint that you wanted to start allocating some funds to Kujira if it fit within your specialty. And so what I would say is to prepare for the bull market, you want to make sure you understand what all these fundamentals are and how to research them yourself. And I have a lot of videos on this channel that would help you learn how to do this. I actually just published a video specifically on DeFi Llama. But the point is, once crypto is fully in swing, it's in the news again, you don't want to be catching up on the basics like this, right? Because there's people who have been studying this all throughout the bear market. They know the ins and outs of these applications. And at a minimum, you can learn what they mean before you actually need them, because otherwise you're just going to be playing catch up. And what I would do simultaneously while I was doing all this research, developing a crypto specialty and all that, is if I wanted exposure to the crypto market, I would actually focus on buying the majors now, not focused on trading them, but slowly dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into Solana, tokens like that. And then as the bull market is confirmed, I would take this big list of projects in my specialty that I developed, and I would really start allocating to them. Something else you could do potentially if you have skills that might be useful, as many of you probably do, even if you don't know it, is if you find small projects in your specialty, you could reach out and offer to help them in exchange for tokens and get tokens for working instead of actually having to buy them. If after all this, you're really chomping at the bit to become a better crypto investor and upgrade your skills, I am actually coincidentally teaching a course about how to become a more profitable DeFi investor in 5 weeks, starting 1 week from today. Again, today is October 23rd, 2023, but this is a 5-week intensive course. It's got something, whether it's a lesson, Q&A, group session, almost every single day. And basically it's to level up now to prepare for the next bull market. And the goal of the course is to teach you these skills. We're going to teach you how to discover protocols early. We're going to teach you how to develop a system for taking profits and cutting losses, teach you how to manage risk. We'll teach you how to evaluate protocols. We're really going to go into depth in that, where I'll be doing in-depth weekly walkthroughs of researching and evaluating a protocol. We'll teach you how to build a portfolio so that way you can be specialized while still having some diversification and not putting all your eggs in one basket. We'll teach you how to track and capitalize on current narratives, how to follow and track smart money whale wallets, and just a lot more things. And I'm an instructor in this course. I helped design it. And so, really put a lot of effort into making this as comprehensive as possible to give you everything that you would need to know. If that sounds like something that would be interesting to you, check it out at go.wdefi.com. However, I know that's intensive. It's not necessarily for everybody. So I also have a free newsletter you can check out, dynamodefi.substack.com, where I'll send out trends and narratives as well as tools to help you with your crypto research every week. And then if you want something in between, I have a paid newsletter for $11 a month, where I have over 2 hours of pre-recorded videos about how to do your own research, as well as a exclusive Discord community for subscribers where we talk about all of this stuff like on-chain trends, on-chain analysis, help each other with research and those sorts of things. So check that if you're interested. Again, dynamodefi.substack.com. Get ready for the new bull market. And that's all for today. If you want more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.